Hello and welcome to part 2 of our fabulous trip on the Azamara Quest, exploring the South African coastline and the wonders that lie within as you venture further into this beautiful and richly diverse country. If you've not seen part 1 yet, I urge you to do so, and also urge you to subscribe too, because our little channel will promise you much more fascinating, enlightening and visually arresting luxury cruise and travel content. Yes, that's a promise. Thank you. Our departure from Cape Town has treated us to our first sea day on the way to Port Elizabeth, just over 400 miles up the coast in an easterly direction. Sea days down on the coast of South Africa are always going to be a bit more fun than usual. We pass Cape Agulhas today, the southernmost tip of the African continent where the Indian Ocean meets the Atlantic Ocean. Well, they've got to meet somewhere, I suppose. The Indian Ocean on the east is warmed by the Mozambique and Agulhas current, which flows down from the tropics, while the Atlantic on the west coast is cooled by the icy Benguela current, which comes up from the Antarctic. Unfortunately for mariners, hot meets cold, and that creates some pretty lively seas. In fact, there are no less than 140 shipwrecks to be found in these waters, and I thought the Drake's Passage above Antarctica had a bad rep. Time for another G&T or 3 to take my mind off it, I think. Still, food tonight was courtesy of Aquilina, one of Azamara's 2 premium restaurants. We've been here many times as it's our favourite venue. The food never disappoints and the service here is nothing short of exceptional. Rough sea? What rough sea? The prettily named Port Elizabeth appeared before us as we opened our curtains on day 3. Yes, cruising is that remarkable. There's no other type of vacation where you can go to sleep and wake up in a new destination without having to leave your hotel room. We will never tire of the unique way it delights us. You simply can't come to Port Elizabeth without visiting Addo Elephant National Park, the 3rd largest national park in South Africa. When founded in 1931, the area had only 11 surviving elephants. Today there are more than 600. So you could say they've done pretty well in protecting their big leathery assets. The open-sided vehicles held quite a few people, but everyone got a good view as the elephants were literally everywhere. If you want a close encounter, you'll be extremely pleased you came, if a little nervous at times. These are inquisitive giants and they're not afraid to eyeball you as they lumber on past. This was honestly the most exhilarating elephant experience we've ever had. Any closer and they'd be licking your face, which wouldn't be pleasant. Their tongues are huge and they don't practice adequate oral health. You'll notice they are also covered from head to toe in mud. This isn't them pretending they're at a UK music festival, but rather their way of keeping cool. Elephants don't perspire through their skin, so mud forms a protective and cooling layer. Of course, there were other slightly less muddy animals in the national park too, and weirdly this cheeky chap, a flightless dung beetle, was the highlight for me. But once you've been lucky enough to see the youngest baby elephant in the whole park, this one was only a couple of weeks old according to the ranger, Nothing else quite gives you the same goosebumps. Upon returning to the coach, we were treated to this delicious picnic box as part of the excursion. We'd quite forgotten how hungry we'd become. The evening was a chilled mix of jazz, cocktails and Asian night al fresco dining out in the Sunset Bar, as rather fittingly the sun set over the city. A perfect backdrop then, and the perfect end to another one of those bucket list days. You'll get lots of those here, as you will see. Day 4 and our next stop, Richards Bay, which boasts the deepest natural harbour on the African continent and one of the country's largest harbours. Once again we foregoed the town itself for a more adventurous day further inland. We drove through the utterly fascinating Zulu country, where traditional Zulu villages with their round huts and houses randomly peppering the hillsides, as if the planning departments within these rural areas have an employee count of precisely 0. We wish we'd stopped for a couple of million photos, but time waits for no one, and our ultimate destination was the Thula Thula Private Game Reserve, nestled within Zululand. Established in 1911, this malaria-free game reserve is home to many, if not all, of Africa's Big Five, boasting elephants, buffalo, rhinos, leopards, hippos, giraffes and much more, and is situated on the once private hunting grounds of King Shaka, founder of the Zulu Empire. Thula Thula means peace and tranquility. And if you thought yesterday's trip to Addo National Park couldn't be beaten for fun, then today would prove you wrong. The diversity of wildlife here is astonishing. For instance, this angry and frightened mother deer is trying to ward off this large group of vultures, unaware that the vultures are actually already feeding off her young's recently deceased corpse. It was dramatic and heartbreaking. Nature. It makes your heart flutter with joy one moment, then punches you in the chest the next. It has to be said, the elephant encounter here was just as exciting as yesterday's. The herd moved around the car and hogged the road with abject defiance. This was their territory, not ours, and they would move at their own pace, when and only when they felt ready. Watch this one eyeball Helen. I think he wanted her hat. Or maybe to be on Instagram. Or to be on Instagram wearing her hat. We'll never know because Helen didn't give up her hat. Oh well, another viral video opportunity missed. Today, the reserve is not home to Zulu kings, but Francois Malby Anthony, widow of Lawrence Anthony, best-selling author of The Elephant Whisperer, about the rescue of Thula Thula elephants. Francoise has carried on the incredible conservation work of her and her late husband and runs the 2 lodges, one of which we were privileged to have a spot of lunch in. We even met the lady herself, who busied herself making sure we were having the best time, which we were. Soon it was time to head back to the port where the most remarkable sunset was waiting for us. Can anyone explain this jaw-dropping light show? As we bid you farewell to the dulcet tones of the resident lounge band, the Fancy Triplets, please like this video if it's pleased you, and if you've not done so already, please subscribe as we've got much more to show you and we'd love to have you on board. Until the next time, thank you and goodbye.
Give you all a chance to keep you satisfied.